Alright, so for anyone that wanted to see the ute, I thought we'd do a bit of a walk around. So, easiest place to start is probably the kitchen here. So we've got awning up above, cheap little eBay one, going doors. So we've got fridge, freezer, they're on drop slides. So we just pull them out, we've got access to our fridge here. Behind the fridge here is the all the electrics. So a bit of a mishmash, but basically this is our charger inverter. So we've got short power at caravan sites. This also does our inverting to 240 volts, so regular household plugs. Little monitor here, switch for the lights at night. Up the top here we've got this red arc thing is basically a solar charger. So the solar that comes in on the roof, basically this changes it around to a amperage of voltage that the batteries will accept. Fire extinguisher up the top, a couple of beer glasses there that we forgot to hand back the other day, but that's another story. So if I put the fridge away, to the right here we've got our water, which is pretty good. We just fill it up from a stream, or if we've stopped for fuel, we can usually grab some water there. 80 litres, and we've also got a heat exchanger so we can have a hot shower, which is nice. This is the rest of the kitchen. So this pulls out, bench space. In here we got a 2-burner, which connects to the gas bottles on the ground there. And then sort of cutlery and things. So this basically doubles as a bit of extra bench space when you're not using, which is nice. Right. Above that is just a couple of storage. Got pantry, food and stuff, paper towel, straightforward stuff. Underneath we've got, this is where we store our gas. So we've got 2 gas bottles, one's empty at the moment. I'm using this one. And in the back here we've got some recovery gear, so snatch strap, shackles, all that sort of fun stuff. So that's pretty much the kitchen. So this is the other side. Another gull wing door. This side's a bit more of a mishmash of stuff. So we've got Stacey's clothes, my clothes, toiletries and things like that. A couple of odds and ends, so books and notepads and tape and stuff like that. This side we've jammed everything in. We didn't plan to have all this stuff in here, but we kind of ended up with it and didn't want to throw the stuff out. So one spare, a couple of bags that we used to come over in the first place, Stacey's push bike, and then a couple of other things, so like a bug out bag, a camelback and stuff like that. In this side here is a couple of shoes up the top, towel obviously, and then down the bottom, just at the back here, is our batteries. Originally they were on the other side up the top, but we moved them just to try and even the weight out and bring it down a little bit. Seems to help a little bit, but you know, it's only 70 kilos in the scheme of a whole car, so not too much. And then washing things, so our line, some washing powder, some poo tickets, a shovel, all that sort of stuff. Cool. In the bottom here, the compressor, a couple of spares, filters and things like that, some tie downs, the winch controller, that sort of stuff. And then in the back here, just got tools. So, you know, assortment of hand tools, charger for the drill, and that's about it. This is the back, obviously. Pretty simple, fold down door, light, reverse camera, they come handy, and also the roof goes up. The canvas does actually come out a little bit, like an extra bit that comes out as a bit of an awning at the back. If it's raining, it'll stop water getting in, and it gives you a bit of extra shade. Alright, so we'll go up into the back now. There's our nice little map of where we've been so far. Alright, so it's kind of hard to film because there's not a ton of space, but this is our bed. Obviously it's about a queen size in Australian standards. At night we pull this little extra bit out and this blue thing here slides in and we get a queen size bed, so it's a bit shorter than a queen size bed standard. We store a couple of things on the roof, couple lights up here, obviously the lappy. This is our little storage for things at the end of the day, so stuff like shoes. Well, there's a keyboard in there, sleeping bag, but obviously it's too hot at the moment for that. A couple of other things, but nothing too crazy. What else? So there's our 240 outlet plugs. So we've got 2 of them. I've got just a power board in there, which makes it a bit easier. Socks and undies and things. One thing I forgot to mention about the back, this little panel here, so we got a little voltage meter to tell us how many volts are left in the battery. This is a cutout for the actuators for the roof, and this is a light at the back. This is some more lights in here on a little dimmer, and that's the receiver for the actuators on the roof. Alright, so now we'll do the cab and probably the rest of the car. The first things first is these seats. These are out of a Ford Falcon, and my parents kindly got me some sheepskin covers for my birthday, which are really nice. So it makes driving long distances heaps more comfortable than the standard Toyota ones. In the middle, little auxiliary fridge. It's just a thermoelectric one, so it's not super great, but it keeps your drinks cold when you're driving, which is nice. Down the bottom here, a couple of switches for lights on the outside and the back, and obviously some chargers. This is pretty standard. The only addition is just a voltage monitor, dual battery monitor. It's just a simple checks the voltage, and this is my boost and EGT gauge. That's pretty much about it from in here. The dash cam monitor, just to catch any crazy drivers, which there are plenty of in Albania, and the overhead console, so just some more stuff, so notepad, a couple more chargers, multi-tool, keep your glasses, all that sort of stuff up there, which is cool. One other thing I forgot to mention was I did swap out the head unit for a Pioneer. This light's not fantastic for it at the moment, but it's really good. We've had no problems with it so far. Does everything we want it to, plus it runs Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is super nice. Nice maps up on there for us. So yeah, that's the cab. It's a bit dirty at the moment, but it's the best diesel engine Toyota's ever made. Larger airbox from Moonlight Fabrications, and another larger snorkel. Dual batteries with another Red Arc BCDC charger up the back there from my original 12 volt setup, back when I didn't have the camper on the back. Other than that, it's all pretty standard. Little catch can there, and that's pretty much about it. When I had the guys put the shocks in, they put the remote reservoir there, which is super silly. The whole point of a remote reservoir is that it's a larger volume of oil so it doesn't heat up, and then so they went and put the reservoir next to the engine, which obviously gets super hot. So I'll be moving that once I get my bit of time on my hands. Alright, so now we'll just move around the car. If I move back a little bit, you see the tyres. They're 35-inch all-terrains, so BF Goodrich all-terrains in a 17-inch wheel. So these are actually beadlock wheels, which are really nice. I already had these, and the reason I use them is that because we're traveling solo, if we get stuck, the benefit of a beadlock is that you can just air the tyre right down to, from what it's at now, which is sort of 30 psi, right down to, you know, under 10 psi, and the bead of the tyre won't roll off. So that's really useful for us, just in case we get stuck. We can air down, hopefully get ourselves out of trouble. On the front, so I've got a couple of old spotlights that were my father's, and bull bar, and an old worn winch, which we actually tested the other day. Still works perfectly, so happy with that. You wouldn't believe these guys rocked up. We met these guys probably a couple of weeks ago. Hello. And they just rocked up out of nowhere. Yeah, do that. Well, cool. Our friends are heading off now. They're going to go to Theth and then come back, which is that way. So I figure I may as well continue my little walk around. So, been through the tyres, lifted springs, and remote reservoir shock absorbers. They're adjustable, so we can basically tailor it to wherever we want to go off in terms of what sort of rebound we need. Superior Superflex Redis arms, which are good. So this is a standard Toyota in terms of fuel capacity. So there's two 90-litre tanks. What else? Bow Desert 3-inch straight through exhaust from the turbo back. So it's got a large diameter dump pipe as well. Our springs, our rear leaf springs are sitting a bit flat at the moment. You can probably kind of see that the gap between the top of the wheel and the guard and there, it's sort of hanging its ass down a little bit. So we'll probably try and rectify that at some point. That's probably about it. I'll do a little time lapse now of the roof coming down, and that'll probably be about it. Last thing's pretty boring, just a little roof racks, a couple of little max tracks on top, some lights, but